Hi, I'm Yuan from Customer Success Department of Base Enterprise. We provide business management and operating platform in Vietnam. And now, welcome to How Deploy Base Software for Business series. In this video, we will discuss the deployment of Base workflow application. And this is the second video. Through this video, you will know how this app works and know how to set up your tasks on software through three main contents. Firstly, set up the basic information of the process. Secondly, set up for each stage task. And finally, complete the process. And now, let's get started. First, about the account logging. After the company create an account, please check your email inbox for an email with the keyword Base platform to receive a temporary password. Then use the web browser to access home.base.vn and use the email and temporary password you just received. After logging in, go to Base workflow application. Before going into detail, there will be a few definitions that you need to know to have the same language as the software. Firstly, workflow are the processes in the enterprise, for example, purchase process or contract handling process. Stage are the task steps inside the process. Job are the big tasks will be handled over through the stage for processing in the process. For example, with the contract process will be a contract. And finally, task, the task item that you need to perform at each stage. Here we have contract processing process to take as a specific setup example. In the main interface, select the Create Workflow button and fill in all the basic information for the process, which including the workflow name is contract processing, workflow category. This process can be classified as a business group, so that gather every workflow in this classification in group in terms of display. In one process, we'll have four main decentralization: the workflow owners, the workflow reviewers, the user or teams who can create a new job, and finally, the user or teams who can see the workflow. Specifically, the workflow owner will have the full authorities in this process, including access to the process, seeing all the task details, creating new tasks, and most importantly, are the right to adjust the process setting. Workflow reviewers are able to access the process and see every task in this process. The user or team who can create a new job not only can access the process, but also can create a task in the first step, so that another task will be handled in the following step. And finally, user or teams who can see the workflow are those who can see the process on the software for interaction while performing tasks. Or you can know this is the scope of this process application in your process. Note that an account might have many authorizations at the same time. Next, the two setting options relate to the display of tasks or job in the process. First, job viewable option, selecting whether each member see each other task or not. If you select job viewable to everyone, each member will be like a supervisor who can see the other tasks. But if you select the job viewable to anyone who follow the job option, each member can see only the job that they are doing or following. Second, the job display option, selecting between displaying all job or only displaying the job that they are processing and hiding the complete one. The workflow guideline, a few lines of notes and a short interpretation of the process. And finally, fail reason, because sometimes in the process, for some specific reason, the job may be cancelled or cannot be complete. While setting up, you can define some reason so that user can choose fair reason when performing the jobs. For example, in this process, the contract must be cancelled due to customer cancelling the contract, the contract being wrong or not agree on the terms. And finally, create a new workflow button. At that time, in the left menu bar will appear the process that just has been created. To update the above content that just has been filled, you select the side 3 dot here and choose Quick Editing. Or update the recent feature, you can select the Advanced setting button. Because the process is a continuation between task steps, it is the main factor to setting up the creation and connecting stages together in the process on Base workflow. In each workflow, there will be always the 2 default stages, done for storing the completed task, and fail for cancel or fail tasks. Our job is to create stages by clicking the plus symbol here to add stage. This is the configuration table of the stage. The stage name of the first will be create the contract. In each stage, the human factor will be 3 main groups as follows: stage owners, stage workers, and stage default followers. In detail, the function of these 3 groups is as follows. The stage workers are the most important because these are individuals who will be directly assigned and handle tasks in this stage. The next is the stage default followers. They will be viewing and monitoring on the job, but only within one stage. And finally, stage owners will have full authority over the job in their stage, including viewing and editing the information of the job or coordinating the task when necessary. Note that an account can participate in many roles in the stage. For stage workers, besides tabbing add for each person, you can add more people at the same time based on the created group in Base account application. And for the deadline feature, it means how long it should take to complete the task in each stage, and the unit is hours. And this deadline is to fix all cases or be changed depending on the reality. And the short play for employee to guide how to perform the task at this stage. And finally, the most important information when setting up stages are the job assignment rules, which answer the question who will perform the job at this stage when the job is handed over. Whether your workflow operates smoothly or whether the stages are tightly interconnected depends on choosing the rules that specify a project way in each stage when setting up. Note that the assignment rules set for any stage will be applied to determine who will perform the job at that stage. For example, the assignment rule of stage 3 is to determine who continue to handle the job when it is handed over from the stage 2. And moreover, the rule of job assignment has no meaning in stage 1 because in stage 1 it is the initial information creation step, so there is no job handover between stages. Specifically, there are rules of assignment as follows. First, keep the assignee from the previous stage. The meaning is that whoever did it in the previous stage will continue to do it in this stage. This applies to the cases where there are the successive steps, but there is no change in the processing object. Second, reassign to the first assignee of the job. The meaning is in the process who is the first to perform, then this stage will return to that person himself. This applies to the cases where the step need to be handed over to the initial information creation. For example, in the purchase process, the final step should deliver to the first need to confirm the goods. Unassign the job, let the stage manager decide. This means when the task is handed over, the software will notify to the stage owner, and then the stage owner will decide who to assign the job to. Assign based on the list of people that listed in the stage worker section. So this applies to the cases that have the whole department participate in. Who assign tasks will be coordinated by the department head. Fourth, let the current assignee reassign. The person performing the job in this previous stage has the right to assign it back to anyone when handing over the job to this stage. This can apply to the cases that the current person who has the enough information and powers to be employed who will receive the job and continue processing in the follow-up stage. Fifth, reassign to a random person. Software will randomly select one of the executive people at this stage to deliver the job. This can apply to the cases that the stage is on way and only have one member, or this stage is not too important to be assigned to him. 6. Reassign to the person with the least number of jobs. The software means choosing the person who is the least job at this stage and assigning the job. Apply in the case it's not too important to be assigned to anyone, but still want to ensure the fairness of the job lot among the employees in this stage. And last but not least, the reassign to the reverse assignee in the chosen stage. The meaning of the job will be reassigned to the individual who has performed this task at the chosen stage. And for example, this job was received and processed by employee A at the stage 3, and then to the stage 5 if you choose this assignment rules and specify the stage 3. It will be assigned to the employee A again to take over. In summary, there will be 7 rules to assign who will be in charge in one job. This rule can be divided into 2 groups, automatic or manual. The automatic group has 5 rules, which including keep the assignee from the reverse stage, reassign to the first assignee of a job, reassign to the reverse assignee in chosen stage, reassign to a random person among this stage worker, and lastly, reassign to the person who have least number of jobs among this stage worker. And the rest belong to the manual groups, which including unassign the job, let the stage manager decide, and let the current assignee reassign. After filling in all the information, you have already set up the first stage of the workflow. In addition, in each stage, you can also set up the subtasks to list down the job to be done in this stage. Then to add the second stage, click the arrow right on the reverse stage and select add the stage on the left or right. And similarly repeat the same way for the following stages. In summary, when setting up one stage in the workflow, you need to pay attention to the following information. First, stage name. Second, stage owners. Third, stage workers. Fourth, how the jobs are assigned or reassigned. And the last is the deadline to handle the task. After setting and connecting all stages, we go to complete the workflow. The following contents are not required. Having or not using this feature depending on each workflow and the regulation of the business. In detail, custom fields. This function helps you to provide the full information for one job in the workflow. For example, with the contract processing workflow, instead of only providing this basic information like this, when creating a new job in the first stage, you can add more forms to get all the information you need thanks to the custom field function. In order to create a custom field, you can select Create button and fill in all the required information, including field names, the title, what information you need to provide, field type, the type of content format for this field, which can be the integer, single line text, multi-line text, date or date time, float, file, and or single select drop down or multi select drop down, title, and last is table. Explain this field. A short script instructs user when filling out this information. Required field. Is this field required or not? And finally, click on the Add a new field. If you need to add more fields, just repeat the same action as instructed. Or if you need to edit one custom field, hover on the custom field line and click on the pencil button, or click on the X button to delete this field. Besides, this custom field should be set up not only for the first stage, but for the another stage also to collect all the information. before the user moves jobs to the next stage. For example, after finishing the transfer contract to the customer stage, user need to provide this information: bill of lading, the shipping unit, and transferring time through custom fields has been already set up when moving jobs to the next stage. Similarly, in each stage has a custom field to standardize task results. When you finish a task, all information from each stage will be stored and centralized in one job. To create and clean one custom field with one stage, fill in all the information as instructed before, but with the link to stage field, select the suitable stage. Note that select the stage according to the principle that this custom field is a task result of which stage, and choosing the following stage. For example, the custom field bill of lading is the transfer contract to customer stage start result, so link this field to the following contract. Timesheet task limit time is only calculated according to the employee timesheet on base account. In each stage has a specified deadline for completing one job in this stage, and this deadline will start from the time one job transferred into this stage. However, you can set up to calculate the time limit only apply in the employee working time sheet instead of constant day. To activate this feature, go to Settings and find the timesheet section, and add the computing deadline for jobs according to timesheet of user who already have a timesheet in base account option. Select yes here. Then we need to set up working time for each employee or the whole company at base account application. To set up the working time for the whole company, go to Group section, then access to the whole company group. Choose the three dots here and select the Set Timesheet to set the working time for whole company. Manage stage backward options. In the workflow, accept moving the job to the next stage as usual. Sometimes, at the specific stages, we'll have the case of backward the jobs to the previous stage to redo this job. At that time, in each stage, you can set up this backward option by clicking on the arrow right on the stage and choosing Manage Backward Options, and then selecting the suitable one. Connect the workflow. All workflows or processes on base workflow can now be connected to each other. When one job finishes on stage in one workflow or be moved to the specific stage, could be transferred to another workflow to continue handling. Please scan this QR code for detailed instruction on forwarding workflow feature. In addition, base workflow can be also connected to base request, proposal management application in the business. This feature is applied to the process that are triggered by an approved request. For example, with the purchase process workflow, employees must first create the purchase proposal to send to approval authorities. After the proposal is approved on base request application, all needed information will be transferred straight to the base workflow to start the process. Please scan this QR code for detailed instruction for this feature. In summary, when setting up the workflow on base workflow, you will need to note the following three factors. Firstly, set up the basic information. It is important to determine who has a right to manage the workflow, who has a right to create a new job, and who has a right to access to the workflow. Secondly, build up on the workflow stages. It is important to determine the individual who will manage the workflow, who will perform the job at this stage, and most importantly, how the jobs are assigned or reassigned in this stage to connect to each other stage together. And finally, complete the workflows. It is important to determine the necessary information when initially creating a new job, or the information to be filled when transfer the job over stage by custom field feature. Above are the operation and the feature of the setup person to note when viewing the process. In the real-world setup deployment, if you have any difficulties or there are the issues not mentioned in this video, please contact Base Support for more detailed answer. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Please continue to watch the video below for the rest of the journey to set up Base workflow. See you in the following videos.